How are you? I'm good. Good. I'm really glad that you reached out the other day. Thank you.
Sounds like fun.
I think we're gonna have a blast. And Celeste and Flora.
Hi there.
Hi.
We're casting from way up in the foothills of the North Cascades today, and we're happy to be here. Thank you for inviting us.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. So like what area up there, if you don't mind? You don't have to give us an address, but
Concrete.
okay.
It's the middle of nowhere, exactly as it sounds. It's very pretty.
I was gonna say you guys have got to be in the middle of something up there.
Oh, there's all sorts of fun things happening up here all the time. Yep.
Cool. Well, I hope you're in the mode to share some of that with us.
Absolutely.
Awesome. DJ Party.
Hey.
How are you?
Not bad. How are you?
Not too bad. We got ourselves some new panelists.
I see that. That's great.
Yeah, no doubt. I'll tell you, even if nobody else shows but just us so far this evening, I'm totally good with that. So
right?
Yeah, thank you guys. And then of course DJ Fury, Stormy.
Hello. I'm trying to fix my background and I'm not there. What's up, everybody?
Yeah.
Welcome to the new what's the word I'm looking for? It's the new edition.
The reboot.
Yes.
Reboot. Yeah. Something like that. Not a rehash, but like rebooted. Reboot 25. I don't know.
Refreshed.
So we're right at the beginning of the reboot then. That's great.
Yes. Yep, absolutely.
So Dave and Celeste and Flora, and of course Party and Stormy, thank you very much. I say, even though there's more people that are supposed to be bouncing in, I say we get started. What do you say?
Agreed.
Sure. Okay. We'll catch them up.
Okay. So now let me make sure too. Dave, are you going by, is it Hiro or Hiro?
Hiro.
And is that's what you want to go by, yeah? Totally up to you.
I'm kind of ambivalent towards it. I thought it was a clever pun.
I liked it. I actually like it. Yeah.
I do like it too. But you are allowed to change your mind. Like we'll say one or two times beyond.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Make it all fun.
I've tried on some names.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Same here. We all have.
Hiro Protagonist is the name of one of my favorite characters from a book. So.
And which book would that be?
Why am I drawing a complete blank right now? I can see the cover of the book.
You shared the thought by asking it directly.
Oh yeah! As soon as the spotlight's on you, it's like
Darren has this tendency too. As soon as he asks you a question, what was it? What was the name of it?
Snow Crash.
Yeah, Snow Crash by Neil Stephenson.
Okay.
It's a nerdy cyberpunk kind of thing.
Those are some of the best.
Yeah.
Cool.
I agree.
So I'll tell you what, let's do this. I'll do a quick lead in and then we'll just get right underway. So, and I think what I want to do, we do have videos, believe it or not, that I've got organized hopefully well enough that it won't take us forever downloading them and getting them ready to show. But I want to take tonight, at least the first session, to kind of let you guys introduce yourselves to the audience. And so in doing that, let's just do like a little bit of convo with each of you guys and just kind of get to know you a little bit. You guys get to basically create the characters that you are and that you become on here, pretty much. It's like if you didn't get a chance to see, we've been doing this for 5 years. I never wanted a podcast, never even thought about it. And because of one of my interviews, because that's one of the other things that I do, one of my interviews with the Australian recording artist, and it turned into this, you know. And so, and he's been back to the show a couple of times since. So anyway, yeah, it's, well, you know, it'll all explain itself here soon. I don't like the sound of my own voice, so let me jump right over that. Yeah,
You're a DJ, but you don't like the sound of your own voice.
I was a
Had to
nightclub
grab a little
nightclub
sip of the
DJ.
tap
Nightclub
to
DJ
get
is
you down.
completely different.
I'd have been sick all
You know.
day. It was a
Oh.
swallow.
Wow, I made the tea with tap water.
Well, okay, I make tea and coffee, but that's like heated,
Okay,
right?
right.
At the
Makes me
very
look at-
least.
It
Like,
makes
it's
me
not
look
going to
at
get
the,
rid of fluoride and shit, but
no, but I'm looking at this a
I
lot
need my
differently.
coffee.
Okay, anyway, so yeah, that's what we were just watching right as you came on, party.
Okay, so in the spirit of Soylent Green and things that are all weird, I went to school in Linden, so that's way up by the Canadian border, right?
Okay.
And you get on the school bus and you ride down Linden Birch Bay Road, and when you used to head into Linden, they had these giant trees. They were beautiful, and now there's rose bushes. But there's cemeteries, one on the right, one on the left, and one is all for Dutch people. But as you go right behind that, there was the meat packing plant. So when that movie came out, Soylent Green or whatever it was, you
Yeah.
can imagine the trip to school every day going past the cemetery and the meat packing plant. You know, it
Oh
was.
my gosh. And
Yeah.
that reminds me of a movie from like 1972, I think, called The Corpse Grinders, and it was a cat food company that was basically taking care of all the leftovers.
Oh,
And
that's just.
yeah,
Man, I won't eat Lucky Charms because the non-marshmallow bits look like cat food.
they don't taste like it, I don't think, though. No, they
I
don't
don't
taste
care.
like
It's all made in the same machines. You think they're gonna make two different machines to make those same little fucking shapes? Sorry about that bomb.
Oh, oops.
Yeah. Really, I'll let you edit it then.
I'm trying so hard.
She's really doing the work.
What's that?
She's really doing the work.
Yeah, I know.
She's trying.
Working that program.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, so where are we going to take it from here that doesn't, yeah. Oh, yeah, zip it. I don't want to see that in the background.
It's not.
It was, yeah, for a second. Yeah, it was. I don't, anyway.
Dude,
Um,
my camera's different than I thought, so.
I'm just letting you know. Okay, so we've still got some videos that we can watch. I'm glad that Party showed up. You and I were doing just fine by ourselves too, but now with the three of us, what are we looking at? How do I know how much time we have left? How do you tell?
I don't know.
I don't want to stop it, but I thought that I could see how many.
There was
Anyway,
a way to tell.
I know we're still doing absolutely fine on time. So I guess what I want to know from here. So we did people in food, and we did UFOs. What were our other choices? We have Bigfoot, depopulation / gates, mermaids, dogman.
Oh,
what?
speaking of gates,
Yeah.
remember how we always talked about going and doing an on-site? You said gates, and it reminded me. I read an article, the Black Lake Gates or something they're calling it, that railroad trail. Remember
Yeah.
the one where the sightings were? Well,
Yeah.
they finally opened that up for us to walk on, like 2 miles of it. So there'll be easy parking right over there off of probably Little Rock Road or something. But yeah, that reminded me. They call it Gates something or other trail.
Well, we
We
should go.
should do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially because we're not probably going to be able to fit in. I mean, if I thought we could still fit in a overnight camping trip, we could. This will have to be edited out. So I only retained just a couple of you guys, Shannon, Robin, Spencer, Danny, Sponge, Doug, and Oz currently are no longer with us.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I mean, the bulk of them I let them. I wrote to all of them too, but the bulk of them I let them go because none of them are really available anymore anyway. And it's like, and what this does is it gives me an opportunity to start over fresh, so, and I thanked them for their contributions over the last 5 years, and very much, and that they're all over cyberspace. So if they ever want to go back and revisit any of their old stuff, it's out there. So and wished them well. So but we retained you and Stormy and Dizzy and Gretchy. I think that's it. Yeah.
I'll just take this thing off my wall and we'll be all good.
Tape
Now
what?
you got me curious about what this thing is that's on the wall. But
I'll send
we
you a
can-
picture when we're all done.
Okay.
I
Thank you.
totally get it though. I just didn't even think about it because it's sparkly and it was my mom's and I didn't, whatever.
Yeah,
But
I'm sorry.
totally makes sense. Just not going to show it again.
Okay.
It's a Ouija board.
Oh, all right. Roger that. Got it.
So okay, so
And my bad. I just didn't think about it. Anyway.
that's okay. Yeah, we've already given it enough time. So what direction do we want to go then? I mean,
So
we don't have to. We don't. I
I
mean, we
don't
don't
know.
have to.
Like,
We don't have to just go over the videos, though. I mean, the three of us can
can
hold
we
a
talk about
conversation.
earthquakes under the mountains?
Sure. Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay. Over 800 little earthquakes under our little mountains here in just a few months.
Really?
Over 200 in like 12 to 24 hours alone. Adams, Rainier, and Baker are all going to blow.
You think so?
You think it'll be a chain like that too?
I think the entire fault, I think the ring of fire is going off, okay? And from Alaska all the way down, I think I think the big one's coming. I think a good portion of the land is going to go into the sea. I think the volcanoes are going to erupt. And that sounds like doomsday as all get out. And I don't mean to be like that, but
it's only
You go.
it's only doomsday for the West Coast.
right,
the-
which
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm stuck.
Barely
Like,
see it.
I get on my
before it's
house,
gone.
top of my house,
Right.
and like, and
Right.
then I don't know.
Next
But
thing I know,
I think
the
that's-
light's
And
gone.
I've always
the
known that was gonna
helicopters are
happen.
still there, but the light's just gone.
But it was still just light enough, but it was dark, but it was still just light enough that you could see the helicopters really clearly. So it
Yeah.
wasn't. Yeah, I mean, you knew what you were looking at, and I still want to know what those kids saw.
And I've noticed a significant uptick in the Chinooks all over the place, especially in pairs. And I'm used to Jiblam's training. I've lived here my whole life.
Oh, guess what I forgot to
Their
say?
paths, I'm used to their areas. These are getting weird. They're
Guess what I
always
forgot to
Chinooks
say?
now.
What?
What did we say we were going to say at the beginning of every show now?
Okay, so for everybody listening, everybody watching, all of what we talk about is for entertainment value only. None of this is serious. We're just having some fun, okay?
Bottom
Now
line,
that that's out the way.
thank you. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but I totally forgot that I forgot to say that. So, okay.
No, I forgot to.
Okay.
But
Anyway,
it was weird. It was weird. And the Chinook patterns are different, I'm telling you.
They are so low out here
They're
again.
coming up. They're coming up
Really?
low over my house, scaring the jeebers out of me. And they don't usually, but they're coming up at such weird angles over my house. And I do not understand. And I understand physics, acoustic physics, vibrational physics. I get it. Okay. I don't understand how two of these can come up just over my house and I don't hear them until they're on top of me.
right.
It's weird, you know?
Right.
By
And-
that time, they're rattling my windows and making trees shake. They
Right.
didn't used to fly this low here.
Yeah, all of the aircraft seem to be real low recently. And like,
Yes.
I mean, I'll keep that to myself. Never mind.
No,
No.
if you think it's worthy to share, then feel free.
I was told that we don't talk about political things here, so I'm not going to, but thank you.
Okay.
We do touch on it from time to time.
Shoot.
It's not like completely out of bounds. We just tend to not get way into it.
Yeah.
We don't intentionally like steer the boat that direction. Because
No.
I mean, yeah.
But we understand that there are political implications to a lot of the things that we talk about.
Right.
Okay.
So sometimes the boat will bump the shore, but then we move on.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's no reason to even have a lighthouse at that point because they're not. It doesn't matter.
And sometimes ships
leave it
sink
at-
for
Sometimes.
mysterious reasons.
Well, yeah. So I want to kind of just update everybody again. By the way, thank you again for listening. You are listening to us here on the Groove Zone's X Vibe Radio. We're here 24/7. I'm bringing you the best in modern music programming. This is Hook, Line, and Thinker, a podcast, and we are actually pretty much at the beginning of our 5th year right now. And because of that, we actually have built on some new panelists with us this evening. If you're just tuning in, we have with us from the North Cascade Mountains area here in Washington State, Celeste and Flora.
Hi.
Hello. And also from the Astoria, Oregon area, we have Hiro Protagonist. Hello.
Hello.
And welcome.
Very
Yeah,
excited to be here.
Awesome.
Really enjoying this.
Well, and the thing is, Hiro, it's like, when you feel that spotlight on you, I still get dumb even after doing this for so long. It's just like, and I don't mean to put people on the spot, right?
Oh, no, I'm not taking it that way at all.
And all these things that you forgot during the show totally come flooding back as soon as it's like, oh yeah, totally. Yeah. Now I remember. Yeah.
And we all do it. We're all
fortunately, I've got Google right here next to me, so I can just, that book's by Neil Stephenson.
So much.
And
yeah, have a notepad.
Yeah, actually, and
right?
that's a good thing to bring up because it does come up from time to time. If we're ever in the course of any of these shows and like you want to like quote somebody or you've heard something somewhere or whatever, if you can try and get the source with like the date or whatever, because not only does it make the show more credible, but it also, I think that it's better. It's like if I'm listening to any kind of show or whatever, if they can quote the source, I think that's great because then that person, the listener, can actually go and like check it out for themselves, whatever. But it gives you that little bit more credibility. In the past, we've had one of our panelists we don't veer towards politics. We don't veer towards religion. Usually try not to. Sometimes it's hard because sometimes it's all kind of intermixed. But
it gets too complicated though.
Right. But he would quote scripture, yet couldn't come up with scripture reference for it. And it's like,
and he'd be wrong.
Well, yeah, or like, kind of just kind of like, doing his own translation. And it's like, okay, but I don't think that they use that word in the Bible.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
thing. But
anyway. And it was all well intentioned.
Oh, totally.
But and there's not always going to be sources. We don't know everything, right?
Right.
And we're not held to that that standard with what
and,
we do.
And I hope you guys can already
as
determine.
Responsible people, it's be confident in your sources and cite them. And if you don't know, just say you don't know. Say I heard from, or I don't know this for sure.
Or I saw it on
fact
YouTube.
Checked it. Whatever. Disclaimers are awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
I went to school for journalism, so my natural instinct is to always have a source if possible. Yeah, that's my go-to.
Cool. So
Yeah.
And what I was going to say is that I hope you guys can already detect that, like, we are really laid back, really casual.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, good. Party's a little bit high strung sometimes, but no, not really.
I can tell.
I know, huh?
Well, you know what though?
No, we
kind of is and kind of isn't.
No, we love our
but
party.
When she has something to say, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, actually,
it's gonna happen. It's
she's
gonna
got
happen
her own,
forcefully, intentionally. Could get loud. She's just passionate, and I love it.
She's
Well,
got her
I've
own
got
show.
about 6 minutes before Zoom kicks me off here. So
Okay. Yeah, actually, we've got just over
Wait.
6 minutes. Yeah.
We love
Um,
Hero because we have a hard time keeping track of time sometime. That was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yay!
I was just worried that I was gonna get
or
kicked
even if it's
off
under
and
the
you guys
guise
It
would
of
just
be like, "Where'd he
disappear.
go?"
no. So, okay.
Yeah.
So now
If
and this is what's going to
under the
happen.
guise of
Off the
anything, it
same
doesn't matter. I mean,
thread
it's
on
that's the
on
thing about God.
Messenger.
His law is his law. Bam, cut and dried.
Right.
To be absent of the flesh, is to be present with the Father. It says that in the Bible. I can't quote you the scripture number, but to be absent of the flesh is to be present with the Father. What's that tell you? There are no ghosts. Grandma doesn't pass away and hang out here and go into the kitchen every mid-morning at 3 o'clock in the morning and start making ghost tea. You're not going to see that. You're going to see familiar spirits, and the reason they call them familiar spirits is because they're demons that are around us all the time since the flood of Noah. Those are the giants that went down.
And there,
That being,
I was going to say, and there are those that have like traveled down family lines.
the demons or
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
Which
They
is
follow
another-
families.
Right, which is another reason why they're called familiars.
Right, that and the fact that they are familiar with your life.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
They are completely familiar with your life. See, if we can't see them, they can see us, type deal. They're around us all the time. If you knew what was around you all the time, you'd crap your pants.
It's true.
I mean, unless you took into full consideration that God's angels are right there too. But the thing is, that's a realm we can't see. And these things know our deepest, most inner secrets. That's why they're so effective.
Right.
Get the trust of somebody, make them think your dad or grandma or grandpa or brother, and once you realize this is what my brother used to do, this has got to be my brother, it's his personality, his actions, you gotta let go and you open up to it. And when you open up to it, then you become vulnerable.
Yep.
Once you're vulnerable, they got you. Unless you're real lucky and you get out.
Yeah.
People don't like to hear that because they want to think the grandma or grandpa are still hanging around, watching over and protecting them. And everything they do, those spirits, is not always foul and negative. I mean, you gotta, at some point, you got to, let's put it this way. Satan returns, he's not going to return brimstone and fire and pitchfork and killing and scaring and maiming. He's going to come in, he's pulling stuff together. He's looking like a hero. That's how you get people to follow you.
The Amati that has surfaced is a good example of that. Are you familiar with
The
that?
what?
The Amati?
Amati? No, I don't think I am, actually.
He's the 12th one, the 13th one.
Oh, a guy, that's the last name.
It's a position. It's a title.
Oh, okay.
And actually, it is the. He says that he's not the Antichrist, but everything's pointing to that. And actually, people have questioned him on it. And he says that he is the messenger of God. He's also
God?
He's also the messenger of Muhammad.
Well,
maybe I'll have to break away for a second while we're talking and see if I can't find some footage on him, because there's actually quite a bit of it out there now. But he's got a major following.
I would I wouldn't have to think about that one very hard to know where I stood, because there's lots of gods, or I should say godlike creatures, entities. Anything above us would be godlike. An angel would seem like a god to us, but God's made it pretty clear that he is the God. He's the man. So I stand with Christianity. People can try to poke holes in it all they want, but it's just where I'm at,
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm a disciple or anything like that, so I'm not. I'll plant my seeds, and if people want to go take it from there, God will guide them. You know that.
Oh yeah.
But I don't. Go ahead.
No, I was just against. No, I don't have anything to say. What were you gonna say?
Where do
yes.
you think the Vatican ties into all this?
I think the Vatican. Okay, some people may not like this, but I'll tell you what I think. I think that the Vatican and the Catholic Church is a very corrupted society, still posing as mainstream Christianity, and because Christianity doesn't preach keep secrets, hold rituals. They don't. It says straight up. The Bible says straight up through God's word. It says when Christ rent the cloth down, because the priests were more about money than God, and it ticked him off, and he tore the cloth. The reason he did that was because he eliminated that barrier between man and God, being the priest. He got rid of it. He says no man's gonna have to go to another man for a conversation with God anymore. You're on a one-to-one basis. That's what this is all about. They tell you don't have to go to another man to speak to God for you. You do not. They said, how do we pray? Now that you've done this, how do we pray? He says, you pray to the Father in my name. That's what Christ said to his disciples. Pray to the Father in my name. So that means you pray to God. That's who you're praying to. And you do it in the name of Christ as a credential of who you are and what you represent, that he died on the cross and rose 3 days later.
Okay,
and you don't pray to Mary, you don't pray to saints, you don't all that.
Amen.
A lot of people don't like hearing that, and I can understand. I totally get it. But the fact
it doesn't vibrate well because it doesn't vibrate with their spirit. I want to actually steer off of this though, because we've got the other podcast that is used for this. So and especially because of the fact too that actual scripture references can't be named. That's why I want to hold off on anything like that, because I think that reference is really big when you're quoting something from the Bible. So
when you're debating, it's huge. When you're debating, it's huge. You should know what you're talking about. But anybody can, go to AI nowadays and say, okay, this guy said this. Where does it say that in the Bible? And it'll tell them.
Right. Anyways, okay, so let's kind of try to get back on track where we were.
Dogman.
Okay, thank you. I don't even want to spend that much time on cryptid tonight, but Dizzy brought that up, and I wanted to make sure that we touched on that again. So have you been noticing an influx of footage, or what came across your mind that makes you bring that up as far as the amount of cryptid sightings that are happening?
What were you asking?
Dizzy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've noticed a huge influx on footage and sightings, and it's just like every day there's just like new footage, and if some of it's doctored, well, I try to keep an eye out for that, but some of it, I swear it's got to be legit,
Yeah, because the circumstances in each and every video are so different. They're different times of day. They're in obviously different areas. They're in different regions and different seasons and stuff like that. And
Well, just the other night, my neighbor and I was outside, and I had my laser and I was pointing it up at some of the stars and stuff. Not at airplanes or anything like that, but we saw these little things that were flying up there. They were like way up by the stars, and they were zigzagging around. And then I had my binoculars too. At one point, it looked like a little leg came out of it, or like a little rod or something out underneath, and it was like it's spraying stuff. It was dropping stuff.
how far out there were they?
I'll show you tonight. I'll show them to you tonight. So,
But for the listeners and viewers though, how far out would you say?
I would say up there by where you would see satellites and stuff like that, right up in that area.
Okay.
Way up there. And these things, they weren't satellites, because satellites don't maneuver this way. They don't turn around and go zig-zagging around. And these things, from what I could tell, I think we are going into the fourth dimension or something. That's like the veil is lifting or whatever. Because I have been seeing things that I normally wouldn't see, like vibrations and stuff like that. And these things have these auras around them that are like
Tom, what's his face, the old talk show host late at night. Tom, he'd smoke while he talked. Tom Snyder. There we go. Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no. So I told my neighbor, I said, watch, because we saw him dropping stuff. I said we couldn't make out what it was. I said, watch. In 10 minutes from now, that whole side of the sky will be totally hazy. And sure enough, it was. So
Wow.
yeah, so whatever it was that they were dropping made the sky super hazy.
But you couldn't tell what it was that was flying.
No.
And it was going like this?
Oh yeah, well at some points it would go straight, and then it would turn, and it would ascend, and then it would descend, and then it would zigzag around. And
Would it have been almost like a performed ritual formation or movement?
possibly, yeah, because in fact there was even a couple of times when it would go up to another, like what you would think would be a constellation or something, and it would flash. It would flash to, and then one of the stars that was set or whatever it was that was just like sitting still or whatever, that would flash back. It was like they were communicating with each other up there.
Wow.
Crazy. I mean, it all sounds too crazy to be true, but you know, for those that do accept, anyway, yeah.
No, I know what you're gonna say. That's just, I mean, and I don't want to put a major kibosh on the Christian theme at all, because I don't want to do that. Oh man. Hey,
Entertainment purposes only.
Podcast. The timing is so right. I'm DJ D. Phoenix. That was so right out of it. That was, the timing was perfect, because I said Caesar and you said Mama, and that's the closing phrase in Escape from the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, because of the human doll, right?
No,
find a human dogs.
No, because when
right.
Cornelius and Zira are killed on the boat,
That's
and
right.
Caesar becomes the property of the circus owner, which was actually Ricardo Montalban.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Mr. Rourke from Fantasy Island.
The little one can talk and says "Mama." That's right.
Mama at the very end.
Yeah.
Good job, Fury. Anyway, what were you saying that actually had nothing to do with that?
Where was I at? Chimpanzee Mama.
Mama.
Her poor little baby died, and she carried her around for weeks. She wouldn't let it go. So I know it's not normal for them to hang on to them in any way, but that's all I know.
Okay. We're talking about gorillas, right?
I thought we were still talking about
these were. This was a chimpanzee, and I don't know, just primates in general. I don't know what they all. They have to do something with them, but I mean,
yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
because burying. Well, no, not necessarily. Actually, burying isn't just a human trait, though. Dogs bury.
Elephants bury. Yeah, dogs bury. All kinds of things. A lot of things bury. Squirrels are burying stuff in my house.
Yeah.
Elephants are, I know they bury, like when the mama has a baby and then the rest comes out, they actually bury it really well because, the smell of that attracts a lot of predators.
Oh, right.
They're really smart about it. Yeah, they roll it around in the mud to get rid of the smell almost immediately, like all the other mamas.
Elephants are hyper intelligent, man.
Right.
They really are.
Wow. And I can't really see like monkeys out there like digging in the dirt to like create a hole for, I don't know.
Yeah. I was just curious as to how they reacted to when one of their one of their family, one of their kids. I just never looked into that, and that's an interesting topic since you brought it up for the big feet.
Yeah, well, and it depends on what angle you're taking, because I know that sometimes they cry and then they revolt against humankind. I'm sorry, I'm still thinking of Planet of the Apes. I'm sorry. Fine. Good grief. Right. Okay, so all Roddy McDowell's
entertainment purposes only.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so but big feet. Okay, so I want to find some video. When the people up in the cabins and the rock throwing on the roof.
The Ape
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Ape Canyon near Mount St. Helens.
I thought it was kind of up here.
Yeah, it was the ape. That's how Ape Canyon got its name.
Rock throwing on the roof.
Didn't know that.
Yes, as a group of loggers down in the Mount St. Helens area years and years and years and years ago actually were out there on a logging, on a job. And while they were there, they were either loggers or they were hunters, but I want to say they were loggers. And the cabin that they were staying in one night came under full assault, full attack by boulder wielding hairy wild men.
Really?
And I think that's actually part of the way that Ape Canyon got its whole name. Kind of interesting. Why else would they call something that was in such a mountainous, forested region of the Pacific Northwest Ape Canyon? Ape of all things. Because bears don't do that. Bears, short of like Yogi Bear, does not throw stuff. Maybe the Berenstain Bears, but bears,
yeah.
They're not capable of actually hucking stuff. And the size of the boulders and rocks being thrown on this cabin were enough to destroy parts of it and freak these 4 or 5 full-grown,
fully armed. Probably. There's no way there wasn't a gun in that cabin.
No, rugged men that were very capable and very used to not only logging, but probably hunting as well, and terrified them. And this assault lasted for hours, absolute hours, until just before dawn. And then the assailants disappeared, leaving behind a bunch of rocks and debris everywhere. But it seems to me though too, and I could be totally wrong, that there might have been a shot fired at one of them and maybe either hurt them or took them down. And this was either in retribution for, or at least associated with that. I'd have to check to make sure. Which would explain the assault, though.
There are those little sort of, well, I guess everything's online anymore. I hate it. But
what's that?
We need to find us on eBay, I guess, some quote unquote true Bigfoot hair.
Like authentic hair?
Good luck in authentic.
I know all that's
I was gonna say an authentic hair
held by science and museums and stuff, but somebody's got to have an uncle somewhere that was like, dude, check this out.
Yeah, but I don't see anybody
My uncle kept this all these years.
I don't see anybody selling that on the regular market though.
I know, that's why I was gonna say, those little sort of hole in the wall.
Paid for the ticket in a private suite.
Let's see. We all know I-5. Okay, if we drive south on I-5, and I cannot remember where it's at.
He didn't go. No real reason. He just
stayed home.
Stayed home. He lived. They died. And 1 year later, the Federal Reserve Act.
Passed.
Coincidence? Now, here's the twist. Some say the ship that sank wasn't even the Titanic.
I feel like taking out an entire Titanic is not assured, for one thing.
9/11.
You can't.
9/11. I was going to say that.
9/11, yes. 9/11, yes. Okay, great. But nobody put icebergs in that water.
No, they put bombs in the basement. Yeah, that's way different. You're right.
You think that's it? I don't know.
They could have used.
There would be easier ways to take.
They could have easily.
Out.
I know, but not really though, because then you'd have this big old it has to be big enough to make sense, but small enough to not raise any concerns about questions about it, right? A boat sinks all the time. Boats sink. You know what I'm saying? It's not really a question.
So you got to kill 3,000 to get the 3 of them dead. I'm not opposed to it. I'm
opposed to it. I don't like people just killing off a bunch of people just because they want to kill a couple people.
No,
it happens all the time.
I'm not saying people should die. I'm saying I'm not opposed to the theory that might have been why the Titanic went down.
I think they do this throughout history. You can see this scenario playing over. This is like in their playbook. This is like their playbook right here.
Yeah,
I say there, but like this is like the powers that be. It's like this is something they do all the time. This is like their bread and butter.
And
exactly.
this has gone back all the way down to like Roman times and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
There's
yeah,
always
yeah.
It's
been
actually
the
Greek.
coups and the-
I think it's called Stoicism, but basically Greeks made this system of deception as part of the Athens rhetoric. If you look back, and then so that went over into Rome, and then that eventually came over to America after England and whatnot. So Stoicism is like this art. I think it's Stoicism is this art of deception in politics, and so it's something that is taught by like into the elite people that are running the world since Greece.
Yes, and I know we say why, for anybody that's alive that actually remembers 9/11, I know we say, it's like, why? Well, why would anybody do that? And it's like, I think it's just because the people at that level that really do basically run things, I think that when you're at that level, it doesn't matter. Those numbers don't matter. Your loved ones aren't on there, so who cares? Your enemies, however, do happen to be there. As far as like 9/11 goes, I don't think that we heard about many deaths anywhere connected even close to any of the presidents or any real politicians, not necessarily.
They were after the computer systems, I think, is what happened, because at that time it had held all the paper records. I'm sorry, not computer systems. The paper records were placed there for all of the federal, like all the monies and all the transactions that were major transactions were put into those towers, and everything was being transferred over to digital copies, which was going to be a lot more difficult to not have redundant systems. Yeah, get rid of, and so you had these records that were in there that were one of a kind or proprietary that they had to get rid of. That was the only way they could get rid of them, because they were hard copied, right? The thing about hard copies is they're difficult to get rid of, right? Like if they're not just destroyed all the way. Digital copies are hard because they can be replicated so easily, right? Like there's a different
there's a footprint in their copies, and it's hard to get out once it's in the matrix there. But you kind of you're kind of making me think with these paper archives and that. It sounds a lot like the burning of the Library of Alexandria.
100%. Those are all ways to control the rhetoric or the masses. So once you get rid of the history, it's the same thing that happened with so I'm Native American, so they did the same thing with our tribal history. Like they would say, a lot of the rhetoric that gets out there, like how the West was one and like all that stuff, it's like none of that is actually what the history was. It's his story, his story. And so whoever wins the war wins the narrative, right? And so you can flip. History is only remembered by the people that either were there or the people that learned about it, right? And if you learn about it, it's not the actual history; it's just someone's version of that history. Right. And
then if you write about it to document it way after the fact, who's going to dispute you? You can write whatever you want.
You can write whatever you want, especially if you're the first person. Like you say that you were there, you can write whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? No one could even say that that's not true because you were there, right? So whatever your history is, like that's what it is. And there's always perspective, right? Everything, you have three perspectives. You have mine, yours, and the truth, right?
The truth. Yep.
And so, so the way that you find out what's the truth is like you find out what's the same in our stories. So like if me and you went to the movies, right, and you got a Coke and some Skittles, and I had popcorn and some like a Mountain Dew, and we were at the movies at 7:00 on Friday seeing Independence Day for sure. Why not? Just the theme of the day. Then the truth of the matter is that at 7:00 on Friday we watched Independence Day. The rest of it's perspective. All the rest of that story is just perspective, and so you have to really kind of hone in on what's the same in everybody's truth. And so So
that's a great way to put it though too, Rocky, because it is true. Everything outside of that 2.5 hour film is all you would actually have it exactly. At the best or at the least that you could do would be a third person perspective, because other than that, the only thing that should coincide is the movie that we both saw.
100%. It's the same thing with religions, though. You look at religions, and we're always looking at what's the difference in religion, but really all of religions are based upon the same entity. You know what I'm saying? Most of them are based upon the same entity, and we're always looking at what's the difference. But our creator lives in the truth, which is what's the same in everything. And so by looking at the truth in everything, everybody's perspective is where our creator actually lives, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, what's the same in all of this, though? What's the same in all of us? What do we all have in common? Is that's what we're supposed to be sharing. But we always are so like wrapped up in what's the difference in each other or our lives, or what makes us different, that we forget that what makes us the same is what connects us, and what makes us connected is what brings us closer. And so it's like we really need to look at it from that angle instead of trying to look at it from what's different, right? So.
Right. No, good point. And I'd say regardless of your faith, regardless of your religion, because that shouldn't even enter into it. If what you're saying is true, it's like humanity is our commonality. That's the tie that binds. And
yeah. Do you remember? So do you remember about 2003, 2004, 2005, around that area? They added this extra question to these demographic questions. They said Hispanic or non-Hispanic. Do you guys remember when that happened? It was like 2003, 2004, 2005 at that time. They just added this new question. It said Hispanic or not.
Rainier, and saw basically a squadron of what was it, maybe six.
I'm not sure how many.
Shiny objects in formation flying near the mountain and at very fast speeds. And when he came down, I don't know if he like reported it from the air or what, but he reported it right away. And that was basically the big reported case, the first one ever. And then after that is when the wave of UFO sightings started. So
that's where the term, I believe that's where the term flying saucer came from too.
Right.
Wasn't it?
Right.
Didn't he say it kind of looked like a saucer when he was trying to describe it, if I remember correctly?
Right. Because he might have used the cigar shaped phrase, possibly. A lot of people seem to use that, which is just a silver tic tac, pretty much.
Yeah.
My
parents lived in Tacoma in the early 70s. My dad was in the Army and he was stationed out at Fort Lewis. And around 1974, they each separately had told me a story in which they were driving some back road and they saw a craft. And it went straight up and it went down and like diagonal in ways that normal aircraft don't go. And then it just winked out and disappeared. But they both remembered that and years later told me separately. So it was a well corroborated story.
Right. Wow. Yeah. That's why. And I know there's got to be just millions of stories. I think though that we're still, Fury and I were talking about something kind of totally off subject, but we brought up it was brought up there being a stigma. I think there's still enough of a stigma attached to so much of this that people just aren't really sure that they want other people to know that they've seen something.
Absolutely.
Because there's still a bunch of naysayers out there. They're like, no, that doesn't exist. No, those aren't real. It's like, well, how do you tell that to somebody though that's seen them?
Right. And unfortunately, the stigma goes beyond that, just being open-minded. You almost have to be careful about who you tell that you entertain these ideas, because some people will just write you off wholesale as unstable just for having an open mind, being inquisitive, and wanting to reach a more open truth.
Right.
I think it's the craziest thing because, fairy tales and stuff, it was widely believed and accepted that the fae and, supernatural type creatures existed and were out there, to the extent that it was just part of the culture almost all over the world.
Right.
And nowadays, it's like, if you believe that stuff, you're, like Celeste was saying, just kind of written off as a loon.
Exactly. And I don't know why society is so quick to do that. I know that there's parts of society, mainly the upper part of society, that know the truth that for whatever reason want to keep a lot of that from the masses, and whether it be acknowledging the fact that they do exist, did exist, whatever, for whatever. Okay, giants. Now, this is one of Duckie's absolute favorite subjects. The giants. Because Gabriel, what you said a minute ago reminded me of what we talked about, which is that because it's folklore or a fairy tale, more so a fairy tale, doesn't mean it didn't exist. Doesn't mean that its roots aren't based in something. Otherwise, how do you explain the sightings of the little people that people see from time to time? The
Stop picking on me.
Yeah, no, you're not that little. DJ Dizzy has shown us video footage in the past where there was some kind of fairy after dark out in his backyard, and this thing flitted around the fence probably for a good 20 minutes or more, and he caught his security cam caught the majority of it. And
wow, nice.
And there's something weird about where him and Gretchen are, right down the lot right below them. They tore a house out of there decades ago and have never rebuilt. And the animals in the area, the dogs that are on their leashes walking with their owners, don't like that corner for some weird reason.
Well,
so,
and you got to trust the animals, man.
Yeah.
Well, and even though you see like drawings and illustrations of it, I don't necessarily think the animals and like fairies and pixies and that probably get along very well.
Well,
maybe
I mean, things like cats and dogs tend to hunt and eat bugs, and if you're this tall, like, you kind of look like a bug.
I don't care if your name is Tinkerbell and you've got a little wand, Yeah, I mean, you're lunch meat if the right dog or cat comes along. Oh, that'd be hard that would be really hard being a fairy. I never thought about that part of it. That would be
You'd end up boxing a squirrel.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Could you imagine?
I don't know if there's any validity to this, but let me ask everybody: Have you all seen like the videos where like somebody is in the foreground talking about something, and there'll be like a little elf almost running up behind him, like running off into the woods?
I have not seen those. We're gonna have to look.
Haven't seen that.
No.
Really? Okay, I will have. And I've seen these things enough times. I'm just like, oh, I'm sure everybody's seen this by now. I'll have to see if I can't find that one. It's pretty interesting. Is it AI? Very easily could be. Who knows? I wish there's got to be some way that they'll make it where you have to mark your video AI or not AI.
People are trying.
That's never gonna happen.
They're little giveaways.
Unfortunately,
we need a list. Can we start a list? Because I don't know if it's because I'm old or blind or both, but I'm having a heck of a time deciphering whether what I'm watching is AI or
it's hard.
Real. What was that? Is it my camera again?
Yeah, you're fine now. No, you're not.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I feel like there are people
leave it right there.
Yeah.
I feel like there are people who benefit